That chilling call for help from the partner of NYPD officer Miosotis Familia, who was assassinated in cold blood this week. She was the 67th officer to die on duty since January, a nearly 20% jump this year alone. But Familia's murder received minimal attention by the mainstream media, including zero coverage on MSNBC and only 90 seconds on CNN. The increase in cop killings is no surprise, with anti-police hatred from groups like Black Lives Matter chanting things like this.
Pigs in a blanket, fry like bacon. Pigs in a blanket, fry like bacon. Pigs in a blanket, fry like bacon.
So is Black Lives Matter to blame? Here to debate, Dan Bongino, a former Secret Service agent and NYPD officer, and radio talk show host Jamila Bey. So, Jamila, I'll start with you ladies first. When you hear death chants like that, do you link those to any of the violence perpetrated on officers?
To be honest, I couldn't quite make out what the chant was saying.
It says, pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon?
I have to be honest, that to me sounds like a nonsense chant. When we talk about...
I agree, it's nonsense, but it's also real.
It is real. It's real nonsense. And what that means is that when you talk about is Black Lives Matter responsible for the uptick in police deaths, I have to sort of parse this out. Number one, Black Lives Matter is not an organization with a headquarters and dues-paying members or whatnot. It's a cry that came out of looking at black people being killed at the hands of police officers. And I think we can all agree we want this to stop. Everyone who's an American citizen, be they black, white, whatever, has the right to due process. So when we look at the fact that this organization, which isn't really an organization, it's a few people who started a hashtag to respond to
well, you know, to be
black people
fair,
being
just
shot.
because maybe it doesn't have a headquarters doesn't mean it is a vibrant and, you know, loud organization. Dan, I'll go to you. Police officer deaths are up this year, almost 20%. And last year was the deadliest on record in years, I think, in the last 5 years for on-duty police killings. Do you link Black Lives Matter to any of that?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting how Jamila's trying to play it down a little bit. But this was a group that was invited to the White House.
Yeah.
This was a group that was given a platform at the Democratic National Convention. Let's not make it out like it's a couple of guys on a street corner who invented a Twitter hashtag. This is a credible group that decided to chant pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon. Jesse, and even worse, this is the one that gets me. The one, what do we want dead cops? When do we want them now? And as I've said to many people, if that was your chant, you got exactly what you asked for. This isn't guilt by association. This is you actively calling for violence against cops. This group should be exempted from any polite political conversation from this point on.
Jamila, let me get to you. We all don't want innocent lives to be taken in an exchange with law enforcement. No one wants that. Black, white, Hispanic, it doesn't matter. But there's 4 studies that I'm looking at right here to show there is no racial bias in police killings, and lethal force is used versus white suspects twice as much as on black suspects. So I think the whole premise that white officers are out there shooting unarmed black suspects at a high rate is just wrong.
When you look at the percentage of population, when you look at the fact that 13% of America are African American people, and you look at the fact that 30% of incarcerated women are black women when they only make up 13% of the population of Americans. Straight numbers and percentages can certainly be manipulated to show whatever you want.
Well, I mean, to be fair also, that's because African Americans commit more violent crime as a percentage of the population than white Americans.
I would definitely need to look at that study.
Well, those are FBI statistics, and Jamila,
Black people commit more crimes than white people.
No, as a percentage of the population. But you know what? I have to run, and I think we can all agree that no one wants to see anybody unfairly targeted by law enforcement. Thank you guys very much. Up next, the college professor who says white Trump voters are so mysterious they need to be studied in class. And it was the WWE video seen around the world, but what do wrestling fans think of it? Waters World heads to the SummerSlam Heat Wave Tour. What did you think about the Trump CNN wrestling video?
I thought it was great. I love everything Trump does. Best president we've ever had.